Test 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Okay, I think we're ready to go here. All right, we should be good to go. Hopefully everybody is seeing and hearing me clearly. You can start typing in your questions. Welcome to the Week 5 Royal Hangout on RotoExperts.com, part of the Exclusive Edge Fantasy Football Package. Welcome back, everyone. Let's get started. Start firing off your questions as soon as you like. All right, we'll start with Reed. Need a wide receiver and a flex in a PPR. Coop. Okay. All right. Need a wide receiver and a flex in a PPR. Cooper, John Brown, Hearns, Melvin Gordon, Hillman, Abdullah, or Spiller. I got to go with Cooper. I know it's Denver, but he's too good. I don't bench him based on the matchup. Andrew, need your help in a PPR. Bortles or Cutler? I go Cutler. I like his matchup today, even without Alshon Jeffrey. Need a running back and a flex from the following: Spiller, Rawls, Chris Johnson, and Mike Evans. Not liking Rawls' matchup too much. I'm going to go with Evans, and then I'll go with Spiller for the upside. Nod PPR, need two: Amari Cooper, Garcon, Hearns, and Hankerson. Again, you can't bench Amari Cooper. I think in a non-PPR, probably go Hearns for a best shot of a touchdown. Geo Cooks or Hearns. I'm going to go with Hearns there. I don't think you can trust the other two based on the matchups. Please pick two running backs in a PPR league only: Yeldon, Gurley, and Latavius Murray. I think you definitely bench Latavius Murray there. Also going forward, who's a better wide receiver 3 between Doug Martin or Rashawn Jennings? I'll definitely go Doug Martin. He's been running hard and he's not involved in the committee nearly as much as Jennings is. Oh, excuse me. Do you think Anthony Dixon has any chance to get a touchdown or two? Johnny, if you're looking for, some positive talk or assurance on Anthony Dixon. I mean, he's just Anthony Dixon. If you get a TD, consider yourself fortunate, no matter who the matchups are. Bortles or Cutler this week. Already said Cutler. What do you think we'll see from Ellington this week? Really, it's kind of hard to predict because nobody knows from what Bruce Arians is going to do. Uh, he's got David Johnson. He's got Chris Johnson. I think it's very unpredictable and a big roll of the dice if you use Andre Ellington. Hankerson or Crowder. I like both of them a lot, but I think Crowder's going to have a bust-out game today. 1 point PPR, need a flex out of James Jones, Snead, or Doug Martin. Very, very hard to bench James Jones. I just can't do it. Booby or Kristen Michael. That's a tight one for me. I think Michael's going to be involved whether they're ahead or they're behind. I mean, whether they're close or they're behind. I think if they stick close, it's because of Michael. I think if they get behind, he sees garbage time work and maybe scores a touchdown. He's a good daily play, but Booby Dixon is in line to start, so I got to go Booby Dixon. Peyton Manning or Sam Bradford today. Very, very close, but I'm going to go Peyton Manning against that Raiders secondary. Cooks or Vincent Jackson. I'll take Vincent Jackson there. He's been more dependable. Need a flex in a PPR. Hillman, Hearns, Gordon, Abdullah, or Spiller. To me, it's easily Hillman. This could be his bust-out day today. Can you pick two, Matt Jones, Spiller, or Kendall Wright? I'll bench Matt Jones. You just can't trust him in that committee. 2 point PPR, 1 point rush attempt. Need one running back. Sproles, Melvin Gordon, Vereen, Tevin Coleman, Kristen Michael. I'm going to go Sproles. It's a revenge game for him today. Thomas Rawls or Fred Jackson or Ellington in a PPR. You can't use Fred Jackson. He's a game time decision. They activated Rod Smith off the practice squad. Ellington, you don't know what kind of role he's going to get. Go with Rawls. Does Roddy White's complaint about not getting touches bump up his projection for this week? Yeah, I have him in my top 35. Worried about big Pittsburgh run game and erratic Vic throwing. What's your thoughts on the stat line for Antonio Brown? I can see the worries there, but maybe after the second week things get a little better. Maybe like 5 catches for 70 yards. Rivers a breeze. I love Rivers this week against the Steelers. Good daily play. Nice to run him and Keenan Allen out in the same daily lineup. Would you drop Golden Tate to pick up Aiken? For this week, I certainly would. Aiken's going to get a lot of targets. Good morning, El Guapo. Blunt or Spiller or Hearns in a standard. I like all three of them, but in a standard, I think Blunt gives you the best shot of a touchdown, maybe 2. Garcon or Terrence Williams? I'm going to go Garcon. Can't go with Terrence Williams with Whedon at quarterback. Very hard to get him in there. These 3 in the PPR, Evans, Matthews, Hearns, Martavis Bryant. Martavis Bryant's out this week, or Crabtree. I go Evans, Matthews, and Hearns. It's pretty easy. Julio Jones and Odell Beckham Jr. with Jones with the hamstring. I go with Beckham. Le'Veon Bell or Jamal Charles. I think I'm going to go with Le'Veon Bell for a little bit more upside. Peyton or Palmer, very, very close. Palmer's playing a little bit better. Already starting Julio and Cobb. Need one more. Allen Hearns or Marvin Jones. Definitely Allen Hearns, not Marvin Jones against the Seahawks. Better pickup, Kristen Michael or Tevin Coleman. I think Kristen Michael. He's got more upside right now and might have a clear path to getting more carries. Rawls, Doug Martin, and Blunt. That is tough. I'm going to leave Rawls out there. I don't like his matchup. Crowder or Aiken. The more I think about it, the more I really don't like Thomas Rawls. With Seattle's offensive line against that defensive line, could be a tough day for the Seahawks. Crowder or Aiken. I think I like Crowder to have more upside in a bust-out day. Breeze or Eli. Got to go with Eli over the 49ers. Would you start Vereen over Ellington at PPR? Yes, considering they go against the 49ers. Weekly pick'em, Charles, Le'Veon Bell, Freeman. I'm going to go Bell there. Rawls, Blunt, or Cooks. I believe I answered this already. I go Blunt. Please don't type your questions twice. I do see all of them. If you typed it and you haven't seen me get to it yet, it's just because I haven't gotten to it in order yet. When you type it twice, it holds everything up. I'll get to your question faster. If you don't type it twice, I appreciate it. Production for Amir Abdullah today. I think he could have a breakout day, about 110 yards from scrimmage, at least, in a touchdown. I have Lynch, Rawls, Freeman, Doug Martin, Chris Johnson was just cut. Do I cut Rawls for Chris Johnson? I would do that because Rawls may just be a 1 week play at this point. Need 3: Blunt, Woodhead, Jeremy Hill, Yeldon, and Hillman. I think Hillman's a must start. Yeldon is a strong start. It's a PPR. I got to go Woodhead over Blunt. Standard flex: Vereen, David Johnson, or Sankey. In a standard, I'm still going to go Vereen. Please pick 2 running backs: Yeldon, Marbury, Gurley. I bench Murray there. Who's a better wide receiver going forward? Roddy White or Brandon Coleman? Definitely White. Do you have a few top value contrarian plays for tournaments? I would definitely read Jason Braddock's insider tip sheet on the homepage. Nelson Aguilar, Jamison Crowder, Ty Montgomery, Darren Sproles. Owen Daniels really not contrarian. I would say Marcus people are going to be on Marcus Wilson, so I'd probably say Aguilar, Crowder, and Sproles. I like shot in the dark type of plays. What I saw, I ranked Julio Jones solo this week. If you haven't seen the news yet, his hamstring tightened up on him. Antonio Andrews, Matt Brones, or Alfred Morris. I think Morris might be in the line for the most work there. Vincent Jackson or Mike Evans. I still go Mike Evans for a little bit more upside. One wide receiver, one flex: Ingram, Gio, C.J. Anderson, Allen Robinson, or Keenan Allen. Love the matchups today with Robinson and Allen. I got to go with them. John Brown and Terrence Williams. Definitely John Brown. Hearns or Spiller. Thank you, Chris. We love you being here too. I'm going to go Hearns, better shot at the score. Palmer or Rivers. It's close, but I still I stick Rivers. Do I start Russell Wilson, Borders, or Marcus Mariota? Wilson, a tough Cincinnati defense scares me. Yeah, but still, he's a better fantasy quarterback than Blake Bortles or Marcus Mariota. Marcus Mariota faces a fierce defense, and I can't start Blake Bortles over Russell Wilson ever. Mariota or Palmer? I'm going to go Palmer for sure. Numbers for AJ Green, I'll say about 5 catches for 45 yards. Crabtree, Hankerson, Isaiah Crowell, Rawls, Gates, Eifert, two wide receivers, one tight end, one flex. You only gave me 5 wide receivers there, so it's Crabtree and Hankerson. Tight end, I'm going to go Gates there with a better matchup, and I'll take Rawls at the flex. Garcon or Mike Floyd, definitely Garcon. C.J. Anderson or Hankerson, definitely Hankerson in the revenge game. Doug Martin, Randall Gurley need 2. I would be benching Randall there. Like Gurley a lot now, and good matchup for Doug Martin. Need 2: Sims, McFadden, Chris Thompson, Beasley, Aguilar, Tate. I like Aguilar to break out today, and of the rest, I'll go Charles Sims. Rawls or Murray. I think Murray has a better shot to score in a divisional game. Should I trade Carlos Williams for Charles Clay? My tight end is Gates, but Delaney Walker's a free agent. I don't need to think you make a trade if you got Antonio Gates. Need 2: Terrence Williams, Hillman, Booby Dixon, Aiken. He said Booby. That's stupid. I definitely go Hillman. I think he's a must start today, and Aikman's going to get a lot of targets. Need 2: Snead, Crowder, Golden Tate, Terrence Williams. I definitely go Snead and Crowder there. Julio's hamstring injury affect his production this week. Honestly, that's a kind of a hard thing to predict. You can't really predict How a player's body is going to respond to an injury. It's very, very dicey. I can't tell you, yes, it's not going to affect him, or no, it's not going to affect him. That's something that happened when you happen to go out on the field. It Nobody can predict how a player's body is just going to respond. Every player is different. Uh, that said, I think Julio's playing. You can't bench him. Heath Miller or Barnage. Barnage is the better fantasy tight end right now. D2, CJ Anderson, Latavius Murray, Matt Jones, Alfred Morris, Melvin Gordon, Charles Sims, Andre Williams. I will go with Murray to get enough quality carries and Melvin Gordon. Concerns for rest of the season of Moncrief, or there's just a revenge game for Andre. I wouldn't overreact to what I saw on Moncrief. Not every player is going to have a good week every week. Jeremy Hill and Terrence Williams. I don't like the matchup for either, but I'll lean Williams because of the New England secondary. Eifert and Delaney Walker, the Hawks are ranked slightly lower against tight ends, but Cam is back now. Still, I've seen tight ends have pretty good production against them before. I got to stick with Eifert. Need one running back, two flex: Andrews, Chris Thompson, Crowell, Matt Jones, Sims, Ryan Matthews, McFadden, Halou, and Britt. The running back, I'll go with Matt Jones for some upside. Two flexes, maybe Darren McFadden to be involved somewhat, and Isaiah Crowell for a possible touchdown. Need three: Dion Lewis, Ronnie Hillman, DeMarco Murray, Ryan Matthews, Abdullah, Duke Johnson, Leonard Hankerson. Abdullah for a breakout game, and I think Dion and Hillman are must starts. Do you think Roddy White gets traded? I think in-season trades are very rare. I do believe, but don't quote me, I think he's a free agent too. Snead or Darius Hayward Bay, definitely Snead. Somebody dropped Andre Ellington. Should I drop CJ Spiller today at Ellington? No, Spiller will be more involved. Chris Thompson, Sims, Royal not expected to play, or Marvin Jones. I'll go with Chris Thompson, maybe a little bit more involved than Charles Sims. Need two: Benjamin Cooks or Ruben Randall. I like Benjamin for the upside, and I'm going to go with Cooks. Just can't trust Ruben Randall regardless of opposition. Need two of three: Allen Robinson, Mike Evans, John Brown. Definitely bench John Brown there. 1 point PPR flex: Christian Michael, Tevin Coleman, Thean Riddick. I'll go with Michael. I think they give him more exposure today, especially if it turns out to be a blowout. He'll get some late work. Need one wide receiver, one flex, and two running backs: Rawls, Ellington, David Johnson, Ryan Matthews, Rashad Jennings, Tavon Austin, Steve, Terrence Williams. I will definitely go with Tavon Austin and Snead as the wide receivers. Rawls for the most quality work, and I guess Ellington is the best of the rest since he's back. Actually, I'll go Rashad Jennings over Ellington. Numbers for Odell Beckham Jr. I say 7 catches for 110 yards and a touchdown, maybe 2. Pats, Bengals, or Falcons. I think the Bengals give you the best combination of potential sacks. Allen Robinson over Latavius Murray, definitely. Like Allen Robinson a lot today. Rivers or Taylor. I'll definitely go with Phillip Rivers there. Need 2 of these 4 today: Abdullah, Hearns, Hankerson, and Crabtree. It's not Crabtree. Abdullah could have a breakout game. I like Hearns just a little bit better. Drew Brees or Tyrod Taylor. Was leading Taylor until all his weapons were out. I'm still going to go with Taylor because what weapons has he really had this year? And he still made the most of it. This could be more design runs. I think Taylor does a good job of finding whoever's out there on the field. He's still got Harvin. He's still got Woods. He still has Clay. One running back: Sims, Ellington, Alfred Morris, Blunt, Beasley, Royal, Garcon, and a flex. Blunt, possible touchdown, and Alfred Morris maybe to start. Bench AJ Green for KJ Wright. Regardless of matchup, I can't bench AJ Green. Broncos or Cincinnati. I love Cincinnati, but I think the Broncos are just a better unit. Need two in a PPR. Randall, Doug, Martin, or Hillman. Martin and Hillman, I think, are strong starts today. Need two of these four. Abdullah, Hearns, Hankerson, Crabtree. Unfortunately, I got to leave Hankerson and Crabtree out of that. Fortunately, part is with Hankerson. Need two from Julio, Allen Robinson, Jeremy Maclin. Got to stick with Julio no matter what, and I like Maclin a lot today. Giants or Cincinnati. I like Cincinnati a lot, but the Giants are top play this week. Need one. Gio Bernard, CJ Spiller, Carlos Hyde. I'll go Spiller for the upside. Need two in a PPR. Latavius Murray, Ingram, Joseph Randall, Doug Martin. Ingram to get in the end zone and Doug Martin to continue running hard. I said running hard. Need one wide receiver, one flex. Sims, Rashad Jennings, Matt Jones, Beasley, Bolden, Tate. I will go with Jones for the upside and Jennings for the matchup. Montgomery, Hankerson, and Crabtree. Need two. Hankerson for the revenge game and Montgomery to score. Woodhead or Rawls? Definitely Woodhead. 10-man PPR, Garcon, Hankerson, or Snead. I think Snead is the safest there. Need flex. Willie Snead, Joe Randall, or Rawls. Snead is your safest play. Number for Gates production, I'll say 5 catches for 75 yards and 1 to 2 touchdowns. Need a flex. Sims, Duke Johnson, Ellington, Gio, Royal, who's out likely, Aiken or Witten. I'm going to go Aiken for a lot of work and Duke Johnson for the upside. PPR. Aiken, Crowder, Snead, Terrence Williams, Booby Dixon, and Boom Heron. I don't know how many you need, so I'll just rank them. I'll go Snead, Crowder, Aiken, Dixon, Williams, Heron. Would you play Odell Beckham Jr. over Julio Jones in weekly pick? I'm already doing that in daily, so yes. Sims, Beasley, Tate, Ruben Randall. I'll go Ruben Randall there for potential touchdown. Need a wide receiver, running back, and a flex. Hearns, Benjamin, Blunt, Jeremy Hill, Sproles, Aguilar. Okay. Wide receiver, I'll go Hearns. Running back, Blunt to score. And I think Sproles in a revenge game, much as I do like Aguilar here. Trade Jeremy Hill for Arian Foster. If you could still do it, I'd do it. Need 2 running backs and a flex and a PPR. Devonta Freeman, Forrest, Wood, Head. I'm sorry, SG. I don't understand your question. You're going to have to type it again. Hillman or CJ Anderson? Definitely Hillman. Again, read Jason Braddock's insider tip sheet on the homepage. Need a flex and 1 TO and a P. SG, I'm not understanding your questions. You got to type it again. You're not being very clear in your typing, please. Thank you. Need 1. Rawls, Jeremy Hill, or Blunt. Blunt gives you the best chance of a touchdown. Drop Isaiah Crowell for Kristen Michael. I've already done that myself, so yes. Need a running back and a flex. Dion Lewis, Woodhead, Gio, Kendall Wright. Dion Lewis, a must start, and I'll go with Woodhead. Streaming defense today. Jacksonville, Tennessee, Pittsburgh. I would never use Pittsburgh or Tennessee, KC or Atlanta. It's easy for Jacksonville for me. Some of those units, like we saw with the Raiders last week, you never start them no matter who they play. Need 2 running backs and a flex. Martin Murray, Matthews, and Jared Cook. I think you got to bench Jared Cook there. I don't know why you would ever have him. Cut Antonio Andrews or Booby Dixon to stash Kristen Michael. If you don't need Booby this week, I would cut him. Otherwise, I would cut Andrews. And we are glad to help you, Chris. That's what we're here for. Need 2 running backs and a flex and a tight end between Yeldon, Joseph Randall, Gates, Clay, Bennett, David Johnson, Lockett, Morris, Doug Martin. Uh, Two running backs. I think Yeldon, you got to start him. Uh, I like Doug Martin a lot too. And then I would cut. Let's see, David Johnson, pick up Crowder and start him. Ed, I think it's going to be a big day for Crowder. Breeze or Palmer, definitely Palmer. He's playing better. Abdullah, Latavius Murray. I'm going to still stick Latavius Murray. I think he'll have a pretty good game in a divisional contest. Eifert or Vincent Jackson, definitely Jackson when you consider Eifert goes against the Seahawks. Standard League, need one. Amari Cooper, Allen Robinson, or Garcon. I love Aaron Robinson, but I can't bench Amari Cooper no matter who he faces. He's just become that good. One running back and a flex, Matt Jones, Spiller, or Wright. I'll go Kendall Wright to be heavily involved in Spiller. I think probably have more upside this week than Matt Jones. Bengals, Patriots, or Falcons. I wouldn't use the Falcons. I'd definitely go the Bengals there. Need two running back, Lacey, Charles, Ingram's, Forte. What are you playing? A two-team league? Can't bench Jamal Charles. And Justin Forsett is top 4 for me this week. Eli or Ryan? I'm going to go Eli. No, I got to stick Ryan there, even with Julio Jones hurting. Bradford or Dalton? Definitely Bradford based on the matchups. What are your thoughts on Tannehill? If the coaching changes, improvement coming, or more of the same? I think there might be improvement coming, but it might not be till later in the year. It's going to take time. Need a wide receiver and a flex. Vincent Jackson, John Brown, Terrence Williams, Duke Johnson, Ryan Matthews. I'll go Vincent Jackson and Duke Johnson. Bengals, Pats, Eagles, or Packers. Close for me, but I'll go the Bengals. Would you drop Carlos Williams for Kristen Michael? Not just yet, especially considering how much time McCoy can miss. When Carlos Williams comes back, he's still going to be very involved, I think. Okay. Need a flex. Calvin Johnson. Nacho Slayer, I don't know. Nacho Slayer, I don't know whether it's Chris Johnson, Latavius Murray, or Calvin Johnson, or Randall. If it's Chris Johnson, I'm going to say play Latavius Murray. If it's Calvin Johnson, I'll say play him. Need a wide receiver and a flex. Sims, Rashad Jennings, Matt Jones, Beasley, Bolden, Tate. I'll go Rashad Jennings and Matt Jones. Bradford, Flacco, or Stafford? Definitely Bradford. Not even close for me. Doyle, Green, Beckham, or Crowder? I think Crowder breaks out today. One wide receiver, Cooks or Akins. Aiken, I'm gonna let's see, is that a PPR or non-PPR? I'm still not a big Aiken fan. I'll take Cooks in a non-PPR. Need a flex. Do get kick return yardage. C.J. Anderson, Hillman, Lockett, Tavon Austin, John Brown. I think Hillman's gonna have a breakout game this week. Need two wide receivers and a half-point PPR. Cooper, Wright, Hearns, Hankerson, or Snead. Cooper's a must start. I think Hearns has a good shot of a touchdown today. Mike Evans getting on the board this week, 6 for 85 and a TD realistic. Yeah, I could see it happening. But you can never predict touchdowns. What if his feet go out of bounds or something like that? I think he'll get the opportunity to score. Whether he converts, that's up to execution. Sims, Beasley, Tate, Ruben Randall. Would you drop Tannehill for Cutler as Alex Smith is my backup quarterback for Taylor? In that case, I would keep Tannehill and wait it out. Thoughts on Christian Michael moving forward? Thinks he wins the job this week. I don't think he's outright going to win the job. I think he gets in the mix this week more. If they stay close, they need him in short yardage. If they get behind, he'll get an audition in garbage time. Rolls of Latavius Murray. I don't like the matchup for either, but I'll take Murray. Need one in a PPR, Chris Thompson, Ellington, Marvin Jones, Bolden. Uh, I don't like any of those, but I'll go with Chris Thompson to be involved. Do you think Dorial Green Beckham should be picked up? Can I cut Rashard Matthews from don't need either this week? Uh, he's raw. It's going to take more time for him to get involved. I'd still stick with Rashard Matthews for now. Need a running back and a flex. Duke Johnson, Ellington, Hankerson, Crowell, Ryan Matthews, and Chris Michael. Duke Johnson for upside and Hankerson in the revenge game. Eifert or Gates in a PPR. I'll go with Gates, better matchup. Need one flex. Charles Sims, David Johnson. 1 second. Okay. Need one flex. Charles Sims, David Johnson, or Michael Floyd. Like any of them, but I think David Johnson still gives you the most upside. Well, he does, but Sims may be more involved. I'll say Sims. Who's the best season investment of a Garcon, Crowder, and Hearns? See, when you talk about those kind of guys, there's never every week start. So if you're looking for rest of the season, one guy plug in for the rest of the year, a lot of times it doesn't exist. Right now, I slightly prefer Allen Hearns, but that could change. Need one, Abdullah or CJ Spiller. I'll go Abdullah for. I have Statler, Cutler, Big Ben, and Fitz. I would not carry 4 quarterbacks. I think you're wasting too many roster spots. And grab one of those and grab Josh McCown if Vic can play one of those this week instead of Stafford. I wouldn't do that. I would just go with Jay Cutler. I would cut Fitzgerald. I understand carrying 3 because you need to have Roethlisberger and you want to rotate the other 2, but definitely don't carry the 4th. PPR wide receiver start between Kendall Wright and John Brown. Definitely Wright. Need a PPR flex between Clay, CJ Anderson, and either Wright or Brown. Definitely, if you're using Wright there at wide receiver, I'll go Clay. Can you trust Cutler on the road with only Bennett as Forte's weapons against a bad pass defense and just go with Bortles in a good matchup of better weapons? I could see where you're coming from. I don't see any upside with Bortles. Cutler still got Forte, still got Bennett. I think I got to stick Cutler because he's a more. Need a flex. Spiller, Cooks, or Snead. I am going to go with Snead there, your safest play. Can you explain why you would start hold on, I'm trying to see the Snead over Garcon and Hankerson today. Snead is very involved in that offense. Maybe the number 1 wide receiver there against, I think, a vulnerable secondary. Garcon is close. Hankerson, maybe the number 3 wide receiver there. Numbers for Julio Jones going to be hard to predict today. You don't know how the hamstring is going to respond. I say if the hamstring doesn't bother him, he could have about 6 catches for 60 yards and a touchdown. I'm not expecting a lot of explosion, but I think with his height and his strength, he can still get a decent amount of catches. Need a flex and a tight end between Clay, Gates, Hankerson. I'm gonna go Clay to be very involved and Gates. Duke Johnson or Rawls. I like the matchup better for Duke Johnson. I don't like Thomas Rawls today against the Bengals. Do I start Cutler or Tyrod Taylor? I definitely go Tyrod Taylor. They both have good matchups, but I feel like Tyrod has more statistical upside. Need tight end between Gates, Clay, and Bennett. That's a tough one, but I think Bennett's going to get a lot of looks today against a bad pass defense. Eli or Wilson, I'll definitely go Wilson. Eli. Probably more is going to be on Wilson's shoulders today than ever before in his career. Uh, he's probably going to take a lot more hits like we did last week. No Marshawn Lynch against a very good defense. I'm not crazy about Wilson today. He's still top 9 for me because I think he's going to have to throw a lot today. But Eli's definitely got the better matchup. Bortles or Cutler? I'll go to Cutler. Need 2 from these. Latavius Murray, Woodhead, Hillman, and Vereen. Hillman's a must start today, and I am going to go Woodhead. Actually, I can't start Woodhead over Murray. I think I got to stick with Murray. It's a divisional game. Wide receiver in a flex: Spiller, Hillman, Cooks, Woodhead, or John Brown. There, I am going to go with Hiller and Woodhead. You rank these players in a PPR: Crabtree, Brown, Crowder. Drop either to pick up Crowder. I would drop Brown. I would pick up Crabtree, and I'm sorry. I would drop Brown and I'll pick up Crowder. Going forward for this week, I go Crabtree, Brown, Crowder, but I'd rather have Crabtree in the longer run over Brown. One wide receiver, one flex: Evans, Macklin, Melvin Gordon, Garcon, David Johnson. Standard scoring, I'll go Evans and Macklin for sure. Rashad Jennings, Blunt, or Charles Sims. Blunt gives you the best shot of a touchdown. Duke Johnson or Terrence Williams. Definitely Duke Johnson. Cincinnati or Atlanta defense. Definitely Cincinnati. Palmer or Bradford. That's very, very close. I like both of them, but Palmer's been the better, steadier fantasy quarterback. Someone I leaked about Doug Martin. I used my waiver pick on him, but didn't see the message. And the commissioner asked people not to pick him up because the person dropped him by accident, which I don't understand. What would you do? I feel like it's an honest mistake and an honest drop. I would let it go and let the player go back to the original owner. I understand you're upset and you're confused, Ed, but if it was an honest mistake, it's an honest mistake. Would you drop Carlos Williams and grab Duke Johnson in a PPR league? Yes, because I think Duke Johnson might have a chance to be a bigger part of that offense going forward. Give DeMarco and Rashard Matthews for Gurley. If it's already on the table, definitely. If you're considering offering for that, it might be very hard to complete because Gurley's already considered an RB1 right now after last week and with his talent level. Pick 3 wide receivers: Terrence Williams, Mike Evans, Kendall Wright, Percy Harvin. I just can't trust Harvin. Eifert or Julius Thomas. That's easy. Julius Thomas is not expected to play. Need a defense: Jacksonville, Atlanta, Kansas City, or Tennessee. I definitely go Jacksonville. Need a flex: Doug Martin, Matt Jones, Rawls, Kristen Michael, or Julius Thomas. Julius Thomas is not playing. I go Doug Martin based on the matchup. Need one wide receiver, one flex. Standard: Matthews, Allen Robinson, C.J. Anderson, Hillman, and Gio. Love the matchups for Allen Robinson and Hillman today. Could you please explain why you would start OBJ over Julio Jones today? OBJ has a great matchup, and Julio Jones' hamstring is tightened up on him. Gary Barnidge or Julius Thomas. Julius Thomas is not playing. Breeze or Tyrod Taylor. I like Tyrod Taylor today. I think he's going to have a lot on his shoulders. He can be very busy, both a runner and a passer. Do you think Carlos Williams plays in week 6? Will he still be involved once Shady returns? As far as playing in week 6, we don't know that yet. There's no information on that. I can't tell you that, Rick, when it doesn't exist. I think he'll still be involved when Shady returns, can be a goal line vulture. All we know for now is he's not playing week 5. Tyrod or Cutler? Definitely Tyrod. Breeze or Bradford? I love Bradford today. I wouldn't be surprise me if it's another 3-touchdown game. Need a running back and a flex and a PPR. Freeman, Woodhead, Geo, Doug Martin, or Spiller. Freeman's a must start, and love Martin today. Crowder or Aiken. I'm not a big Aiken fan, even though he should get significant work today. I'm going to go Crowder. I've been sitting on Devontae Parker. Should I drop him for any of these free agents? Jonathan Stewart, Deshaun Jackson, Carlos Williams, Devontae Adams, Rashard Matthews, Matt Jones, Rawls, and David Johnson. I would pick up Rawls for now. For 10T PPR, trade away Woodhead for Evans. Kurt said do it. What are your thoughts? I don't question George Kurtz. Okay. Julius Thomas is playing today. He's going to be active. Yes, Julius Thomas is playing today, but it all depends on who else you have. Just saw that Julius Thomas is playing today. It's a little bit of a surprise. Well, it depends on who else you have. So bring on the Julius Thomas questions. One for a flex. One for a flex. Hankerson, Latavius Murray, Golden Tate. I'll go with Hankerson. Jordan Matthews today. I think he'd have a pretty darn good game. I'm going to go with 6 catches for 90 yards and a touchdown. Schefter reporting Julius Thomas active and not limited. Can you confirm he's playing today and would you use him over Barnage? Yes, he is playing, and I would use him over Barnage. If he's not going to be limited, yes. Matt Ryan or Sam Bradford. I like both of them a lot today, but I think I like Ryan just a little bit better, higher floor, more trustworthy. Need 3, Aiken, Crowder, Matt Jones, Tevin Coleman, Duke Johnson, Cruella, Willie Snead. I think I go Willie Snead, Crowder, and Duke Johnson. Thomas Rawls, Chris Johnson, and Booby Dixon. Pick 2 or play all 3 with one in the over Percy Harvin. I wouldn't use Harvin. I don't trust him. Snead, Brandon Cooks, or James Jones. Need 1. Can't bench James Jones. Roll with Barnage or pick up Carrier. Carrier is totally unproven. I think you got to roll with Barnage there, Shane. All right. If Thomas is playing, that's better for Bortles, but it has changed stats for Hearns. It's possible. That's a good point. I think it opens the offense up more though, and really makes everybody useful there. Makes Bortles more useful. I like Bortles. Still got a lot of confidence. Roll with Barnage to pick up Carrier. I wouldn't do that. Carrier's got to prove himself first. Roll with Barninger, pick up Carrier, and he answered that one. There's no improvement on Julio's status. Play anyway or swap for Hearns, and you can't bench Julio if he plays. And he's good to go. So don't bench Julio. Jordan Matthews or Ronnie Hillman. I think Hillman's in for a big breakout game today. I'm going to go with Hillman. Need 3 wide receivers between Antonio Brown, AJ Green, Randall Cobb, or Crowder. I can't play Crowder over any of those guys. When I say I like Crowder, you don't play him over must-start guys. You can't bench Green, Cobb, or Brown regardless of matchup or situation. They're must-start plays. You roll them out every week. How'd you get 3 of those guys anyway? Did you play in a 3-team league, Ed? Having a little bit of internet trouble here. Having some technical difficulties. Please bear with me. Okay. Let's see if we can get back here. Okay. Give me 1 second here. Chris Thompson, Ellington, Marvin Jones, or Bolden. I'll go Ellington there. I don't like it. Hearns also have Crabtree and Julius Thomas. Hearns will get less targets, but how much Thomas is involved? Remember, this is his first game back with the team, so I still do like Hearns. Need 3 between Ed. I already answered that. Okay. Would you drop David Johnson, Ryan Matthews, Terrence Williams, Thomas Rawls, and Devontae Adams? Grab Julius Thomas. Have Gates, but could put him in my flex PPR league. I would drop Devontae Adams. Need 3: Aiken, Crowder, Matt Jones, Tevin Coleman, Duke Johnson, Crowell, Willie Snead. Point per carry for running backs. That case, I'll definitely like Duke Johnson. I would then go with Crowell and Willie Snead in that scoring system. Bengals or Chiefs, definitely the Bengals for the sacks. Thomas Rawls or Ellington. Rawls is in line for more work. Who is the better play in a PPR league at flex? Hyde, Abdullah, David Johnson, or John Brown. Definitely Abdullah could have a breakout game. Who to drop because of roster limits? Stewart or Carlos Williams? Stewart has no upside. I would drop Stewart. Opinions on dropping Crabtree for Ty Montgomery just for this week. I'm okay with it. I think Montgomery can score. Drop Delaney Walker for Richard Rodgers, Ben Watson, or Heath Miller? No way. Talk all season of Rashard Matthews losing touches to bring in Parker. Thoughts and expectations now Matthews' production and changes as head coach. I think that's still the trend, no matter what the changes were. Hearns or Crowder? I'm going to bump down Hearns a little bit now in my lineup ranks. I'm going to go with Crowder. Okay, we are all caught up. I can stay till 11:30. Need two, Murray, Abdullah, or Randall. I'm going to go with, I still think Murray in a divisional game. Okay, thanks everybody for your patience there. Need two in a PPR. Forsett, Hillman, or Abdullah. I see what you meant to say, Brian. Hillman's top four today, and I love. I'm sorry, Forsett's top four today, and I love Hillman. Need a defense with Carolina out, Atlanta, Tennessee, Jacksonville, or Kansas City. I'll go Jacksonville. John Brown or Dion Lewis in a PPR flex. I'll go Dion Lewis for sure to be more involved. Crabtree, Golden Tate. I'll stick with Crabtree there. Just don't like Golden Tate. Antonio Andrews or Nile Davis for a bench spot. Andrews for sure. Davis is third on the depth chart right now in Kansas City. I need two. Latavius Murray, Abdullah, Joseph Randall. Murray and Abdullah. Drop one. Amir Abdullah, no. Rawls, Duke Johnson. Rawls may be a 1 week play. You drop him. Cincinnati, the Giants. I like both, but I think the Giants have a better matchup. The Ravens a good play. Should I drop for Jacksonville or the Falcons? I wouldn't use the Ravens. Cleveland's not impotent offensively. I would use Jacksonville. I'd start a quarterback in my flex, and normally I always do, but this week would you start Derek Carr? Would you plug in Gates, Snead, or Hearns? I always use the quarterback. If you want to go further down the totem pole of quarterback, I'm fine than Carr, but I always start the quarterback. Lowest scoring game: Chiefs versus Chicago or Atlanta versus Washington. I think Atlanta and Washington have better defenses. Martavis Bryant officially out. Just checking some updates here. Sammy Watkins not expected to play. Just checking some updates here. Be right with you guys. Okay, let's get back to the questions here. Tyrod or Breeze might need this one with a higher ceiling. That's definitely Taylor. I like him better outright. He's got more upside. Evaluate for this trade for me. I get Foster, Cooks, and Abdullah for Gore, Forsett, and John Brown. Foster, Cooks. I would rather have Gore. I worry less about his health than Foster, and I'd definitely rather have Forsett than Abdul. I think I definitely don't do that deal. Eifert or Gates. I'll go Gates with the better matchup. You concerned with Julio? All still must play. Yes, I'm concerned, but if he's active, you can't bench him. Thanks for spending your time doing this. Sure, Reed. Thanks for being here. I have a pickup question. Ever to get any piece of New England offense is considering pickup or fell in what we do to be slated to come back week 7. Thoughts to expect when he returns? I think he's what we saw last year. I like it. I have Bradford and Tannehill. Cutler and Stafford are on the waiver wire. Would you drop Tannehill and pick up one of those instead? Not for this week. I'd rather have Stafford than Tannehill overall still. I play Bradford this week. Would you drop Hearns, Vincent Jackson, or Martavis Bryant for Snead or Crowder and pick 2 to start this week? I would still roam with Hearns and Vincent Jackson, but I would cut Bryant for Snead for now. Yeah. Standard League, Abdullah Latavius Murray. Got this question several times already. I'm sticking with Murray. Drop Vereen for Rawls this week. Yes, Rawls is in line for more work. Uh, Pick up Rawls and Montgomery. I would go with Rawls. Montgomery just not involved in the. I like him today. You know, uh, I don't think neither one of those really helps you as a pickup, but I'll take. They're both 1 week plays. Uh, I'll take Rawls in case Lynch continues to be banged up. What's your opinion on Martavius Bryant? What are your sources saying? I don't have any sources in Pittsburgh, but my feeling on Martavius Bryant is it's going to take some time to get with him on the same page with Vic. So I think it's going to be very up and down when he returns. All right, looks like we've answered everybody's questions. Say sit, not drop one. Amir, Rawls, or Duke Johnson. I'm going to bench Rawls. Do not like the Seattle offensive line against that defensive line of Cincinnati. Need two of my flex, Bernard, Hearns, or Spiller. I'm going to stick with Hearns and Spiller there. Hearns still to be involved, Spiller for the upside. Joseph Randall, Hillman, C.J. Anderson, Crabtree, Golden Tate pick 1 point after 5 catches. I think Hillman has a breakout week. Mariota or Tyrod, got to make that decision myself. Mariota faces a ferocious front wall. They get their starting free safety back. I'm definitely going with Taylor. Andre Johnson, a 1 week wonder against old team, or worth picking up next week for the rest of the season. All depends on who you cut, but I still don't trust Andre Johnson after one game. BPR league, one wide receiver, one flex. Spiller, Hillman, Cooks, or Woodhead. Uh, I think I think Hillman has a breakout week, and it comes down to Woodhead or Spiller. Woodhead's in line for more touches, I think. Would you trade Aaron Rodgers for Mariota and Charles? Uh, all depends on what your running back situation looks like. Uh, if you're okay at running back, I wouldn't do it. It's a significant downgrade from Rodgers to Mariota. Kelsey or Daniels in a standard. Kelsey's a must start no matter who he faces. I wouldn't base start Daniels based on the matchup. Matchups are used to govern decisions between two similar valued players. Daniels nowhere near in the range of Kelsey. Need to pick a tight end for 1 week. Who should I go with? Donnell, Cook, Carrier, Max Williams, Selec, or Heath Miller? I would roll the dice on Larry Donnell there. Points per carry: Antonio Andrews, Matt Jones, Chris Thompson, Crowell, Tevin Coleman. I think it's Crowell if it's a point per carry. Safest play. Need two for a 10-team full point PPR. Latavius Murray, Doug Martin, TJ Yeldon. Bench Murray there based on the matchup. Would you drop Golden Tate for Carlos Williams? Carlos Williams might not play in week 6 now, we're hearing. So I would keep Tate. But actually, you know what? I would get Carlos Williams back because Tate's not doing nothing, and Williams will be involved even if he returns in week 7. Palmer or Tyrod Taylor. I can't bench Carson Palmer for Tyrod Taylor no matter who he faces. Beasley or Snead in a PPR. Snead easily. Much better quarterback situation. Eifert or Delaney Walker. I'd still stick Eifert there. He's the better fantasy tight end. Woodhead, Latavius Murray, Spiller for a flex. I'm still going to go with Murray. That's a divisional game. I think he can get in the end zone and catch some passes too. Spiller or Murray. Definitely going Murray there against divisional game. He'll be involved in the line for more touches than Spiller. Is Jordan Cameron droppable at this point? It all depends on who you pick up. I just don't cut guys just to cut them. You're thinking about cutting Cameron because they're on a bye, because he's been injured. The offense hasn't been looking. It all depends on who you pick up. I wouldn't cut him just to cut him, though. You may regret it down the line when if Tannehill's play starts to improve. Need two running backs in a flex: Jeremy Hill, Melvin Gordon, Keenan Allen, Hillman, and Emmanuel Sanders. I think Hillman's a must start. Like his matchup today, Keenan Allen, Emmanuel Sanders. It's much easy for me. Would you rather have Woodhead or Carlos Williams? Woodhead, because when McCoy comes back, Williams is going to get scaled back. Woodhead will still be involved. Palmer or Ryan? Very close for me today. I like Ryan's matchup just a little bit better. I just think Ryan gives you. It's very, very close. I have him ranked 3-4 today. You know what? With Julio hurting, I'm going to stick Carson Palmer. Cobb or Sanders? Or neither? What do you mean neither? They're both very good, but I'll stick with Cobb. He's the number one wide receiver, but Sanders isn't. Atlanta or Kansas City? I don't like either, but I'll go with Atlanta. Between John Brown and Kendall Wright, definitely Kendall Wright. Need a flex between Clay, John Brown, or Wright. I'll go Clay. Would you pick up Cameron and drop Reed? See, I don't know what the prognosis on either one is. You asked me who I'd rather have. I'd rather have Jordan Reed if both were healthy, so I'll keep Reed for now. Lamar Miller or Matt Jones for the season. I think, when you ask a question for the season, you want to have a definite answer. And there isn't a definite answer on either one of those guys. Right now, I'll keep Lamar Miller because I feel like he's in line for more work. But if Matt Jones busts out the next 2 weeks and change. Right now, Lamar Miller, but there's no rest of the season answer there when you're talking about two guys like that who are both unreliable. Woodhead or Hillman today? Hillman has a breakout game. He's a perfect fit for that offense. If Julio can't go today, who would you pick up for this group? Julio is expected to play. You don't pick up anybody to start over him. Standard, need two running backs in a flex. Jeremy Hill, Melvin Gordon, Keenan Allen, Hillman, Emmanuel Sanders. Hillman is going to have a breakout game today. Sanders is a strong play and love Allen's matchup. I'm rolling him out in daily. Two-point PPR, free agent pickup, Rolls of Montgomery. Both those guys are 1 week plays. I would rather have Rawls in case Lynch continues to get banged up. Bernard or Spiller? I think Spiller definitely is the better matchup. Hillman, Doug Martin, or Charles Sims. Again, I love Ronnie Hillman today. He's a perfect fit in that offense, like Jason Braddock says on the homepage with that zone stretch play. I'm definitely going Ronnie Hillman. Cincinnati, the Chiefs, or the Giants. I don't put the Chiefs in there at all. Just not a good defensive unit right now. Comes down to the Giants and Cincinnati. I like the Giants a little bit better. Need one, Jeremy Hill or Melvin Gordon. I don't like Hill at all against the Seahawks. They have not allowed a touchdown to a running back yet this year. Right, looks like we're all caught up here. Need one between Randall, Morris, Andrews, and David Johnson and Dixon. I don't trust Booby Dixon very much. I'll go with Joseph Randall to be in line for the most work. Okay. All right, looks like we're all caught up and a lot of people have left. So I'm going to wrap it up for today and next chat tomorrow at noon Eastern. Thanks for coming by today. Good luck to you in week 5.